So what happened on this in the San Juans?
What happened in the San Juans? Well, we started out.
Beautiful.
The first 2 days, there was not a cloud in the sky. Literally, not a cloud in the sky. The sky was completely, beautifully blue and sunny.
And we were like, "What fantastic luck!"
Yeah, we thought
San
we were.
Juans are gonna be. We're gonna get lucky.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna make it all the way through, and then that night, 2:30 in the morning, we woke up, and the tent was starting to get covered with snow, and then we woke up that next morning.
The second night, and that was the third morning.
Yeah, the third morning, we woke up and it was just snowing.
There was still post holing and stuff the second day though. Remember when we had to walk? Well, the first day it was still flat. Remember, it was still flat and there wasn't too much snow, and it was like you'd come over each thing and you'd look and you'd see the same trail going up the side of that hill. You remember that?
Yeah.
But then the second day, we were actually in the mountains, because before we were all like leaving the mesa area where it was flat, and then we started hitting the mountains where there was like definite like wet feet and definite post holing, but nothing like, I mean, at least it wasn't too windy. The sun was out. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
We could dry our stuff. We had a break where we could dry our stuff.
But the next 2 days was just snow. It just snowed the whole time through those next 2 days, and our feet were constantly wet. My hands were wet. Like our hands were wet. Our gloves were wet. Everything was wet and snowy. And then when you get up above the ridge, the winds were like just firing on you constantly.
It was the kind of wind where you have to have 2 feet to steady yourself.
Yeah.
But you don't get anywhere if you don't pick them up and move.
Yeah.
So then you pick one up and you just pray that the wind isn't going to gust at that point. And of course, sometimes it would, and it would blow you over. And the kind of snow where you post hole and you don't know what's down below, and it's just they could be rocks or a hole or something, and your foot, your pole would go really far down. And
you'd walk on the side of the trail to avoid the drift that was inside the trail.
Oh yeah.
We did
Along
that a lot.
those little clumpies of grass.
So we went to bed that night, and then the next morning we woke up and our shoes were completely frozen, and so was everything else in the tent. The water was always frozen, and we went back up on the ridge, and it was like white out. It was like a blizzard. And we were barreling through it and stuff. And then when we got to the top, we looked at the map and saw that we had 7 more miles to go up on that ridge. And
I mean, you couldn't see 20 feet in front
you couldn't see it. We have pictures where it's just white. And then we just decided to just cut straight down into the woods. And then we walked through this Colorado powder, all the way down the woods.
Yeah, we had to bushwhack down the side of the mountain through all the.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
that was wild.
Meanwhile, the forests are being killed by the pine beetles, so half of the trees are down on the ground. So you have to.
Yeah.
So then we're like, well, man, at least we're out of the wind, but now you have to hurdle over all these, down trees and stuff, and then we got down, and we had to cross the
Squaw
river.
Creek.
Yeah. Then we couldn't find a place to cross the river.
What was the deepest snow you had?
Waist deep at one point, but that was just like a drift. But the deepest was waist deep. We were coming around the side of this mountain, and I was in front, and I was just stepping and stepping and stepping, and all of a sudden just whoosh, just went right down. And Samurai Joe was behind me. He went down too, and then these guys were behind too, and they went down, and that was it. But the standard, I would say, was halfway up to my knee, or up to the knee.
1.5 to 2 feet.
Yeah.
So it wasn't ever.
That was the average.
But it wasn't like what you guys are talking about with the waist deep snow and having to
Well, that was just post holing.
But what was
You're talking fresh snow, right?
Yeah, and that was just a drift. But the average, I would say, would be about a foot.
But then when you got down into the green, down into the woods, what was great was that everything was covered with this blanket of snow, and even the creeks. And so whoever was in front, you'd just see this big black hole where someone's foot had gone down into the river.
Yeah.
And I was always got to be in the back, so but there was no indication that there would be a creek down there, and so and someone's foot would go just go down. And it's hard when you can't see. Everything's covered, every little stick and twig and rock and
Big detail.
yeah. And so then the further down you go away from the snow, it was just wet. Then you're just sliding on everything. And, but we had and then the next day, Brett and I at Squaw Pass decided to take an alternate out.
But before that, we woke up and again our shoes were frozen solid, and my like shoelaces were sticking out like this, just like antennae, and none of us could tie our shoes because they were so frozen. So you just forced them on and
Yeah,
walked
untie
through the snow for like
At
2
night,
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Open up
That's a
your
good idea.
Nalgene bottles at night.
Yeah.
But they didn't go. Like it's still like I had learned that because I was like I'm gonna open them up before I go to sleep,
Yeah.
you know. But then they
They still don't. But at least you can get your foot in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slamming it.
Well, that's
you know.
because I have blisters still in the back of my feet, so I was like trying to put them into these rock hard like.
So
She
we
was-
walked for
son of
like
a bitch.
an hour or two with untied shoes in the snow. Saw some awesome moose, and then we split at
true.
Squaw Pass and we went up to Cimarrona Creek, and halfway up that guy we were able to tie our shoes again and
It was really
change our
nice
clothes
out
because
that
it was
day.
beautiful. That day was beautiful. That was a beautiful day. And we're like, wow, we're splitting, and you know we think it's the right thing to do, but
We
you
were running
know,
out of food. We didn't know how it was gonna be on the ridge. You
Yeah.
know, on the, you know, we were like, if we're gonna run out of food and we're gonna only be able to go 8 miles a day, like we're never gonna get out of this.
So we took this other trail down, which was completely unmaintained for like years. It was just littered with blowdown everywhere. Like we were just walking and like following animal trails because we thought it was the trail. We just got completely screwed up. But we were able to follow, and we knew where we were going. So we just did that forever, and then just popped up on this beautiful trail, this Wemanuchi Wilderness
yeah,
Trail
like
or
a quarter
whatever.
of a mile from the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, like we were like, what is that up there? I think it's a wilderness sign. And so we were like in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden we get up and we just come across this beautifully graded trail. And like we walk for about a minute, and this couple comes by, and they're like, "How's the trail up there?" And we're like, "Oh, like, we came off the mountain, the side of the mountain. We just bushwhacked down." And they're like, "Oh." We're like, "Where are you from?" And they're like, "Well, we're from town." We're like, "What town?" And they're like, "Huh? Like you just came off the mountain, not on a trail? You don't know what town is nearby?"
Is this town Pagosa Springs? They're like, yes, like that's where we're going. Awesome.
We're like, "How far is it?" And they're like, "Well, by car, it's like an hour or so, half an hour or something." And we're
Yeah.
like, yeah. And
So tomorrow you guys head back up to the same place you got off the trail and can resume your hike on the CDT?
no.
No, we're going back to
And we're gonna
Wilderness.
put that on the. You could put that on the internet.
Yeah, we are not continuing.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.